This is Eli White,
Willie Calhoun,
Dane Dunning,
Nick Solak, this is Isaiah Kiner-Fleffa.
This is Chris Woodward,
Glenn Otto. This is Taylor Hearn with the Texas Rangers, and you listen to the Texas Rangers Fanatic podcast with Alex Plink.
Alex Plink.
With Alex Plink.
with Alex Plink.
With Alex Plink. Alex Plink.
With Alex Plink.
And Alex Plink.
Hello, Rangers Nation. It's Alex Plink with Dallas Sports Fanatic, and this is the Texas Rangers Fanatic podcast, episode 33. And I am joined by Mr. Sam Huff. Sam, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So first off, how's the knee doing?
Doing good. I was at Texas for a little bit just because of the lockout at TMI. And then I tested my knee again. They do the tests on these machines, and I was 5% off my left. And I was like, hey, I want to go home. My mom just had breast cancer surgery. Can I go home and just work out there? And they're like, oh yeah, for sure. That's healthy. You're good. And I was like, okay. So I came home, kept doing my stuff here, and I feel really good. Catching a lot of bullpens. I was catching Howard, Hearn, Sal Mendez, and Spores and AJ Alexi in Texas. And I came here, and now I'm catching Brock Burke, Jason Barr, some guys with other teams, and just whoever's at the facility with the lockout. We're doing our best, but we're getting it done.
So you are currently in Arizona right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're Arizona native too. So so you're right back at home. Question I always had. So for spring training, do you just stay at home, or is there a facility that you get? Because I assume everybody stays in the same place.
Yeah.
So when everybody stays there, do you kind of go with them, or do you just, since you have a home?
So kind of at the start, when everyone's starting to get here, I usually stay at my parents' house, but waking up at 4:30 in the morning to drive to Surprise 45 minutes every morning, that was getting to me. So I decided I usually get the hotel out there what they kind of supply us with. But last year I got a house with Curse Terry and Steele Walker. So, and Cody Freeman came over a lot. Josh came over a lot. So we had a lot of guys there. But once that happened, then I was dealing with my hamstring. I went back to the hotel. So it was a little more convenient. But I usually want to be closer to the guys and just hang out.
So do you feel as the season approaches, and hopefully that's a rabbit hole. That's a deeper rabbit hole than Alice in Wonderland. Yeah. Do you foresee yourself being 100% ready to go behind the plate catching? Because I know last year just, getting some work in, but you were at first base, DH. Is it now hey, I can catch 100%?
Yeah, it is. And it took a while to get my leg feeling good with strength wise, because I was deficient with my quad and hamstring. So if I don't have any leg strength to hold my leg up, knee's obviously going to feel a little sore. So it took about a month or so. And once I finally got able to go in the off season and kind of relax and physically get myself ready, I'm for sure going to be okay. It was my job personally every day was waking up, was sleep is free. So I want to get as much rest as I could. And then when I get up, if it took me 4 hours or 10 hours to do my day, I was going to do it regardless of what it was. So it was a lot of hours, a lot of kind of just planning through my day, what made sense in my head. So I'm for sure going to be ready. I'm excited. I want to catch. So it's been getting to catch everyone out here, kind of getting back into it. It was a little stiff at the start because of obviously getting back into it, but it feels really good.
Has there been any other discussions of just maybe getting, I know you got reps at first base. Is there any discussions of maybe getting more reps at first base, or is it just no, focus on catching 100%? That's it.
I think what they make it sound like and what I want is I want to be a catcher, obviously, because I really do love catching. Being my size, I don't think that should matter. But being 6'5", but I love catching, and it actually feels better in my head when I catch. But I think I'll part-time at first base if I'm hitting well and I'm doing my job and doing everything I need to do. I think some days behind the plate are off, at first base or DHing. Like, it's just more versatile for me to like be able to move and like being able to like, hey, like I just want a day, or hey, we're going to give you a day to go to first base, let your legs stretch out. And it's more of just like having it in my back pocket, because obviously my size, like, not a lot of people see that behind the plate other than Sean Murphy with the A's, but it's different. But I like first base too. I've played a lot of it. I text Kurt a lot when I transitioned, just because he's one of my best friends, and kind of just working with like Josh Jung, because at the time when I was in Frisco, he was there. So he taught me some things, and it's a lot different at first base and third base, but it's in a sense of just like having people help with reps. And it was an easy transition. So I thought, I'm not opposed to it. I love baseball. I want to play regardless of where I'm at. So that's mainly my outlook on it.
What about the bat and the power? How's that feeling right now?
Feels good. It feels like it always does. And I think my biggest thing is I just want to focus on hitting the ball and making my bats worthwhile. And, there are days where I'd swing at pitches I shouldn't swing at, and then there'd be days I'd be on. And it's just, I think after 2020, I know what I need to do. I just need to understand when I was coming back, I was worried about my body, how I felt. I wasn't swinging right. I wasn't swinging the same because I was worried more about my knee. So I think overall, it's more of me understanding that it's a hump that you have to get over at some point. And I feel like I'm over it, and I'm obviously off season, you have time. So I feel good. It's just, I think people understand like injuries are difficult, and during a season being pushed back, even coming back later and putting pressure on yourself. And then also probably not just getting your reps in, like more worried about like results, because you're used to doing results more than failing, and understanding that baseball is a game of failure. So I had to just say, you know what, this is part of it. I'm going to get through it and I'll be fine. It's just, I think the biggest thing is shorting everything up, keeping everything simple as like it was.
How much did the 2020 season in the big leagues help you kind of just get your foot in the door? It's got to be awkward too, because if you get called back up to the big leagues, technically you're not making your major league debut. However, you walk into a stadium with people, with MLB people. You haven't had that before. It just almost feels like a different atmosphere. I know I asked this a couple of times with guys that made their debuts in 2020. It's almost like you're making 2 major league debuts in your lifetime.
So that's, my dad said that. He's like, I'll be at this one this time. This is your real debut. Because my mom, my dad, and my sister, no one got to come. And I was like, well, whenever that happens, I would love to have you guys, but it's not anything new. I understand what it takes to be up there. I understand what it is and what I need to do to stay there. It's easy to get there, harder to stay. And I think that's my outlook on it. It's nice. It's personally nice that I got to do it, to see how difficult baseball really is up there. But I think another thing is just kind of taking a step back, and now you understand it. Now you go up there, you're going to be a little nervous the first couple of games, but you know what's up there. You just got to do your job.
And on the similarity side, you're facing big league pitchers. So that part, the actual on the field stuff is the same, or roughly the same, but it's the atmosphere part of it. And going, because you played the 2 games in Arizona in 2020. So you're at Chase Field. Did that feel weird?
It did, because
in silence. I mean, they had music and fake crowd noise, but it had to have been feeling kind of weird.
It was really weird. So funny. I know Cole Calhoun very well. So when I was there, he like was running in the outfield, and I looked at him and I said, Cole. He kind of looked at me and he did this, like to see my number. And I turned around and he's like, middle linebacker, because I had 74. And I saw Cole after he signed his contract in Texas, and he didn't see me because I was sitting down. I walked up to him and he was like, what's up, teammate? Because we trained for a good 4 or 5 years of my career when I was young. And he was nice enough to like, I would train out at 7 and he would come in at like 8. So I would just be finishing when he came in. I thought it was disrespectful for me being in his way, because I was like, I wasn't anything. I was just an AZL baseball player and trying to get through it. And I remember him, Howie Kendrick, Daniel Nava, CJ Crone, and all those guys. Like, I remember Howie coming in at 7 with me. And I looked at Howie. I was like, hey, I can leave. Like, I'll come in at later. He's like, no, I came in because I want to work out with you, dude. And like from then on, I got to know Howie and Cole and all them. And being in Arizona, like when I was a kid, being at Chase Field and Bank One Ballpark when it was Bank One, it was different because we always sat down the left field line by the bullpen. We sat on the first row, so we saw all the pitchers warm up all the time. And so it was kind of cool. I sat out there and I talked to Beasley. I talked to him for like a good hour or two. And I was like, yeah, I used to come here all the time when I was a kid. He's like, you're from here? Like, yeah, I was born and raised here. And he's like, man, that's awesome, but it sucks because you don't have any of your family. And I was like, yeah, I know how to sneak them in. I've been in this field a lot. But it's just like, it was unfortunate, but it was cool to be able just to cherish it myself. And with no one in there, it was kind of cool because I've never seen Bank One empty. So it was kind of interesting just to like see everything. And then it kind of takes out the aspect of baseball in a sense of it's still the game itself, but you put fans in there, it does get bigger, and you put the TV cameras on you. And I mean, the cameras were still there, but I think it was just the aspect. I think I missed because my friends and everyone would have been there, and I probably would have had more. They would have more Ranger fans than D-back fans, but it was cool to do it myself. And they stayed at the Phoenician right over here. So I actually like 5 minutes from my house, 2 minutes, like 5 minutes walking, 2 minutes driving. So it was kind of cool. So it was different, but it also was kind of nice just to be here.
How many spring training games would you go to just yearly as a kid? March like the time. So what? And I know some have varied, but what would you say is your top 3 best spring training ballparks in Arizona?
I'd probably say Salt River. I love Salt River when it even was first made. And then Camelback Ranch. And then I did like the new Cubs.
Sloan, yeah.
I like the Cubs, and then I like Goodyear. So those were my the A's weren't ever at the Mesa one they are now. They were never there, but they switched because they got rid of Papago, the one that I always went to. And then the Giants, I like Scottsdale, but I used to go there for fall league games when Mike Trout and Bryce Harper were there. And Greg Bird, you got all these guys that went there. I was a fall league. I was a spring training guy. I just like going and watch baseball. I never asked for autographs because I didn't want to be that person to like go ask for autographs, but I always was there just watching. So I know the city really well. I know how the fields play. I know everything about these stadiums because we'd play club ball games here. We'd play club ball games on the backfields of Camelback Ranch and Salt River, Peoria, Goodyear, and the stadiums are awesome. And you definitely run into like some stadiums, like Peoria is a little older, so their dirt's a little softer. And then you got Salt River and Camelback, their fields are amazing. So it's their grounds crew team, they're awesome. And you can definitely tell which ones have been new and not new. So it's definitely eye-opening.
No, it was the first Arizona experience last year. And so going to Talking Stick, going to Peoria, of course, Surprise, and then Sloan Park were the ones that I went. And yeah, I was impressed of just like how well kept these ballparks are. Of course, they have to keep it well kept every year. But I mean, you think about how many facilities are just in the area, and then even, assuming the same in Florida. And it really did surprise with the crowd, because I know, they were opening it up to people. So just seeing like just people sitting back watching a game, in March, it's fantastic. It's a lot more loose too. And I assume for I don't know for the younger guys if it's a little bit more loose because you guys you're vying for spots on the team.
Yeah.
But for like veterans, it's a little bit more loose. And I know for fans, you get the cheering. Yeah. I'm sure you get some heckling at times, but compared to regular season games,
I think I don't ever want to think of spring. I know you're fighting for jobs, younger guys, and me especially, who I am and what areas we're in. And I feel like I try and make it as loose as possible because I mean, I've been going to these games since I was a little kid, so it's nothing new. I know what people are doing. I know what guys are doing for their jobs. And I think it's funny, like, yeah, people talk crap and like heckle us, but then like we walk by and like, hey, can I get your autograph?
Can I
And
get
it's
your
like,
autograph?
dude, you're just talking crap about me. What are you talking about?
Why
I'll
do
sign
fans
it.
always think baseball players have like bad memories?
Yeah, like, I remember half the people in spring training would heckle somebody. I'd be like, oh, that guy was. All right, I know what they look like. And like, I'll still sign their stuff. I don't care, but it's like, it's funny. It's like, oh yeah, sure. And then if I had the Stones be like, yeah, you're the one talking crap about me, right?
Yeah,
No.
sign it and just be like, oh yeah, you were the one that was saying this.
Yeah, it was like, oh no, I wasn't. Oh yeah, I can hear you.
You were. That's absolutely amazing. I'm surprised. I don't know how many, because I was never one that even as a kid asked for autographs. So I don't know how often that comes up, but I know that there's a few times where like players will just be like, no, I'm not going to sign because you heckled me.
It's
Which is a good lesson. Like, I mean, it depends on how far it goes. Like a little bit is fine.
If they're joking, but when they bring families in, it's like, all right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so there's that I haven't seen that in spring training. I do see it like affiliates, like in 2019 that happened, like Columbia, South Carolina, and Hickory sometimes, Kannapolis. Like that, it just depends on where you're at. But overall, like people don't really bring families into it. It's just if they're really drunk, it's like, okay, you can tell this guy does not know what he's talking about.
That in Little League too. You get Little League parents that are pretty intense.
Yeah.
It's
interesting.
It's funny because the kids are like, just very nice. They're there. And then mom and dad are just like going at it.
And then you see the kids like, come on, let's go home. Let's go. No. I want to say this. It's like, all right. I gotta sit here and watch my parents do this again.
So looking at, of course, last year and first I have to bring up the 2 500-foot shots. The one that impressed me definitely, I know it wasn't the one in Frisco impressed me the most. I was looking back on it. I'm wondering, did it actually like leave the park?
Yeah. So
go on the street?
Yeah, it hit the apartment complex. And
do they bill you for that?
No, it hit the wall, luckily. And it bounced off a car and this little girl went and got it. And my girlfriend actually was talking to him like, yeah, my daughter got his 500-foot home run ball. Like, we're going to ask him to sign it. So I came out and I looked, and it was when we were having the COVID issues.
Yeah.
So I looked down and I told fans, like, I hate saying no, but it was like, hey, like, we have COVID. Sorry.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. And so this little girl came up. She's like, this is the ball you hit out. And I looked at her. I was like, what's your name? And she's like, oh, my name's so-and-so. I was like, do you want me to sign it? And the dad was like, ask him. She was like, yeah, can you sign? I was like, sure. And I signed her ball because it was like, she went and got it. She went through the gate, went out, ran, got it, ran back in, like climbed through the gate. And I was like, how'd you get out? Oh, I went through the gate. And I was like, oh, so you worked for this? She was like, yeah, I really wanted it. I was like, okay. And so I signed her and took a picture with her and she was really excited. So it was kind of cool to see that, but it was, I looked at the video and they told me it hit the front of the apartment complex and went under a car. So it went out of the stadium somehow, but I didn't put all the power into it. Frios did throw on 98. So that was the only thing I got to say.
Yeah. That's what I always wonder. If you like break something in the stadium or who's responsible? Is it, there has to be some sort of disclaimer on that.
I hope it's not me. That's all I got to say. I'm just going to.
No, or you know what? You split it between you and the pitcher. You're like, well, the pitcher shouldn't have thrown it right down the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, he's with the D-backs in the big leagues. He was pretty good. So I was like, yeah, he can help me. Let's go.
Let's do this.
He would that maybe would be a good way, or I guess the team would pay for it. But I don't know. They were parking their cars right by the stadium, so it does say
that's their fault. You should know better.
Yeah, objects leave the field. It's not our fault if it hits your car.
Don't get mad because guys can hit 500-foot homers. They're gonna have to make the new ballpark Huff Proof on some of the stuff. I just start using that right now, Huff Proof.
That'd be fun because it's interesting. It was kind of funny. I didn't know how far it went because we were losing and I tied the game up, so I was more intrigued on winning. So we were playing Amarillo and I just like Amarillo, because they were always somehow beat us because we'd always play at their place. But we were finally at ours, and we were down 2-1, and I had a runner on first, or maybe it was a solo, but I tied the game. And everyone was like looking at me like, bro, you know how far you hit that? I was like, no, how far did I hit it? 502 at a 116 off the bat. I was like, oh, cool. And I walked away. I was like, okay. It didn't hit my mind until I started seeing like Instagram and Twitter go live about it. I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. Yeah. It was another home run.
Which one was more good for you, that one or the Anaheim?
I like Anaheim
First,
still.
yeah.
That was just the fact to see Mike Trout, his back.
Look at it.
And then he comes up actually that bad. I was like, hey, man, congrats. And I actually introduced myself a little bit before because I was like, hey, Bobby Wilson says hello. Because Bobby was with him when he was young. And so he's like, yeah, really? You know Bobby? I was like, yeah, it's like my dad. He's like, he's been watching over me this whole time. He's like, tell Bobby I said, what's up? And I hit the home run. He's like, Bobby better get you something nice, man. You did that. If he doesn't, tell him to text me. And I told Bobby, he's like, hey, Bob, Mike said you got to give me something nice. And he's like, what do I got to get you? He's like, he said to text him. And he's like, he already texted me. And I was like, oh, okay. And so it was fun. It was kind of interesting. And I thought it was cool because I also got my first win that day too. So I think that whole day was kind of awesome.
Euphoria.
Yeah. So everything's going to have, every time I go to Anaheim or if I ever am in LA, I do think of that. And I do remember like where it was and everything. So it was cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping as far as getting an opportunity with fans at Chase Field, and unless there's exhibitions going on. This year they're playing the Rockies as the NL West team. I want to say probably 2024. If you're going by regular season, would probably be the next time, assuming I know the schedule, or next year. I don't know. They kind of alternate between Rockies and Diamondbacks. So
yeah,
at the very least.
I'm hoping I can go back to Bank One and just see it. And my whole goal was I wanted to hit a home run D-back stadium because like that would be kind of just the cherry on top of that. Would have been awesome. But there's always opportunities. There's always stuff that can happen. I know Merrill Kelly's still there, and I know a couple guys on the team. So we always talk a little bit, and it would be kind of fun.
So you were talking about earlier with Cole Calhoun. So what do you make of some of the signings? Does it pump you up? Corey Seager, Marcus Semien?
Absolutely. Like I met Corey a little bit, not a lot. Katie talked to him more than me for some reason, but unfortunately I didn't get to, but I know Cole from a friend standpoint, a family standpoint. He's awesome. And it was just awesome. I didn't believe it at the start. And I actually texted him Happy Thanksgiving. And he actually was negotiating at the time during Thanksgiving. And he thought I was texting because like someone told me to text him, like, hey, like text Cole to ask him to like sign with us. And I was just saying, hey, Happy Thanksgiving. And he gave me this really like bland, like, you too. And I was like, all right.
That ain't right.
Yeah. I was like, okay, thanks, man. Like I say Happy Thanksgiving every year to you. And he comes to me and I text him like, you're really with us? And he's like, yeah, I thought you were texting me to like see if I would sign. I was like, no, dude, I was saying Happy Thanksgiving. And so we laughed a little bit and we talked.
That's hilarious.
John Gray's also in my financial firm. So he's out here right now. I'm trying to see if I can meet him here soon and just kind of get to know him. But he's an awesome dude, I heard too. And have Corey and Marcus and all those guys sign with him. And it's kind of fun to see. It's as a player that's young and still trying to get his spot up there, like make a name for himself and just trying to be a team player and be as good as I can be. It's interesting because you got some guys that are very smart in what they do, but also can teach you. But at the end of the day, it's like you got to teach yourself like how you're going to paint what you want and what your path is going to be. And I think it's interesting to learn from those guys and like what they did to help them be successful isn't probably what you use, but it's also like an indication of like, this is how they started and this is where they're at. How can I build myself to be that? And yeah, I see videos like Marcus Semien hitting on social media from his hitting guy. And I think Willie hits with him a lot too. And I know Corey's in Nashville. I don't know when he's coming out here, but I know he's at his house now and they're hanging out there. And I know Corey's an awesome dude. He's quiet and he's kind of like me. Like, I'm not really approachable when you look at me, but when I get to know you, it's like I'm actually really nice. And I'm not really like
He
gonna
is.
go out.
I can attest to this.
Yeah. So he's quiet and he's like very like to himself and just wants to get the job done. But when you know him, he's actually a really nice guy, I heard. So I'm excited to meet them all. I know Cole's gonna give me a lot of crap, so I'm ready for it. So I already got yelled at when I was flying back. I was on the first class flight and him and his wife went to like regular seating. And as he was walking by, he saw me and I waved him and he was like, so he came up to me. He's like, "Hey bud, we're gonna have to talk about the flight situation." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Bud, you don't need to be flying first class. I do." And I was like, "I didn't get the tickets. Sorry." And he's like, "Oh, we'll talk about it in spring. Don't worry." And I was like, "All right."
You get mad at me. I'm just enjoying first class.
Yeah, he was just getting mad at me. And I was like, "Bro, like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not important like that. They gave me a flight ticket. I'm sorry." And he's like, "It's okay. We'll figure it out." And I was like, "All right, see you, Cole." So I haven't. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, what about the younger guys? Like, some of the guys that you played with in Frisco, and then a little bit of time in AAA. Which ones should folks be excited for?
I mean, Josh Jones.
That's a given.
I talked to Josh a lot. We talk a lot, but we'll FaceTime here and there. He got mad at me because I didn't Snapchat him back, and he called me and said, "You don't like me anymore?" And I was like, "What? It's okay, bro. You can tell me you don't like me." I was like, "Bro, I just opened you and I didn't respond because I was playing video games." He's like, "Okay, it's okay, bro. It's cool." So we talk a lot. I think he's gonna be fun. And you got Davis Wenzel, you got Josh Smith, Justin Foscue. I mean, Cole Wynn. Me and Cole work out the facility. He's at the facility at the Rangers now, but when we're at our gym, he's always being Cole and doing crazy things. I met Jack once during the fall league. I'm excited to meet him a little more, get to know him a little more, and he seems cool, very quiet, but you can tell he wants to work and have fun. And I mean, Zavala, you got all these guys that I've met, and they seem awesome. I'm excited personally because I like creating friendships. I like having good teams, but I also like having dudes that like to have fun and like do stuff. And so it's kind of cool to see and kind of see where this could take us. I'm excited for the future.
I'm trying to find a way to ask this, but like, what's something about some of these guys that a lot of people wouldn't know? Like, I'm not asking you to like dish out a lot of tea, but maybe just a couple drops of tea.
I think, well, with everyone, with Joey getting traded and getting the new guys coming over, and Trevor Howard, he's actually out of here too. And all these guys that we've got, and we've gotten to know, we're all different, but we all have one goal. And
yeah,
we want to win. But I think people, they see us, and we got guys with social media with their wives, and like they do a lot more. And then you get guys that are like totally remote, don't want to be talked to or known of.
Yeah.
But everyone is like, we're good. We're a group of guys that want to play baseball, and we like to work. We give each other crap, and we're not afraid to make each other mad and push each other in certain ways that brothers would do in a weird way. But we want to have fun. And I think that's the goal from us, from the top down. And what I could vouch for is like when I was there and had Blaine Krim and all these guys, and I mean, we would hold each other as standard, and we hold each other as standard like constantly. And I think it's something that not a lot of people do sometimes, or some people do, but we really love playing baseball, and especially being in an organization with opportunities and having a team that wants to be a winning team and going and getting guys that are big time players and bringing a core group together. It makes you want to like work harder, and that's what we do.
And I think that's very important. And one of the things I always say is like, you look at in the big leagues, this is a team that did, yes, they lost 100 games, but you wouldn't know it. with the way they act around each other. And some people may seem like, oh, that mean that they don't care. No, it's the opposite. They care because from a mental side, if you're not, I would assume this, I haven't played before, but I would assume this, you don't get along with your teammates when you're so concerned about the game day in and day out, that's going to play with you mentally. And your performance is actually going to go down.
Yes.
And that's with anything, like not just baseball, but just life in general.
It's tough. And that's always been our motto is even when Josh Smith came in and all the new guys, like our goal was to make sure they felt welcomed and they felt like a family. And so I know some guys are like still getting to know each other, but overall, like my goal was to like, hey, you're here now. You're going to help us win. I don't care where you came from. You're going to, if you have something wrong, we're going to call you out on it. And we're going to figure out how we can get you to where you're comfortable with everybody to win baseball games. Cause that's what we're here for.
How does it feel when you see guys like get traded, from trade aspects, and you see guys that you've known kind of, or maybe even get promoted? Like if you see somebody that gets promoted from AA to AAA, is that one of those where, yeah, you're a little disappointed because it's not you, but at the same time, you're happy for them?
I think it's frustrating for me because I like them. The guys that get traded or get moved up, it's more of a personal thing. Like I create friendships with them and I lost somebody that I liked and there's someone that's going to come in. We got to make sure that he understands what we're about and we're not going to push him out and make him nervous. We want to make him feel welcome. So I think on a personal side, it's like, yeah, you go up, good for you. Like I've had the opportunity to go up there. Like I'm not worried about going up there anytime. I need to work on myself and get myself ready and healthy. But when my opportunity comes, I'm going to take it obviously, but I think it's more of the lines of like, it's not supposed to be, you're supposed to be selfless. And I've always been like that. I always try and put people before me. And that's an opportunity they get to feel for themselves, like getting called up or getting the call that you're going to a different place or getting something that is like a promotion feeling. It's awesome. Like it's a feeling that you can't really describe and you're excited, you're nervous, but also you're just eager to get after it.
Who's the comedic guy on the group that you're associated with?
Which one? Because I was in AA and AAA and I had some guys. So
you know what? Let's combine it all and then pick one.
I think overall, for me, I thought the guy that was like kind of like every day could get a smile on me regardless was Scott Engler. He was a guy that I think I'd come in days where I'm just like, it's upsetting because of my knee and like I'm just trying to get myself out of it, and he could get me out of it regardless of how I felt. And everyone else, he brings an energy that everyone kind of thinks he's different. Like no one can really get used to him right away, but over time he's doing it for a good cause, and he's funny. And so I thought he was a good one, and that was like overall who I always like go after. Scott, he's funny. So it was him or Jack Spiggers was in AA. He was always the guy that would kind of keep the team loose, and you could tell he didn't, because he's helping guys. He's not really there to like be a bad teammate. He's there because we're there right now. We're here, and he's there to help us too. So anytime we had issues, he would kind of like lay the foundation of like, let's stay loose and relax, and would go from there.
So now so you played a little bit in the Arlington area. What was it in Arlington like? Did you not realize, and not so much the stadium, but just the area in itself? What kind of surprised you being from Phoenix and now for a little while playing in Frisco? You can even add Frisco to that, the DFW area.
Arizona's it's very open. And unless you go to Scottsdale, that's the only big city technically in my head, or Tempe if you really want to go to Tempe. But I think it was just that there's a lot more people that are involved in the kind of the baseball realm of Texas. Mm-hmm. In Arizona, you got D-backs fans who aren't really D-backs fans, but they're fans whenever they are. And so it was like, you could tell it was definitely like the fans are there. They're excited. They're excited for the team, what we're bringing. And it's it's interesting. Like I liked it. Unfortunately for COVID during Arlington, It was tough, but I mean, I walked in and you got Texas fans that had to go through tough seasons and they're still fans, like Cowboy fans. Like you still got Cowboy fans and they lose. Like,
they're another realm of they're another species.
Yeah, but like that's what I say about Ranger fans. Like they're committed. Like they don't give up on you. And like, yeah, there's some frustrated fans and there's days where they're good and bad, but they stick with you. And I appreciate that. And I think a lot of guys know they appreciate that.
I mean, you look at the attendance just this past year. I know you're dealing with first year Ballpark that was accessible to fans, but even later down the road and even like the last weekend of the season against Cleveland, I mean, you're near sellouts and places packed and everybody. I mean, and you're talking about how busy Sunday, the last game of the season was. You're dealing with a Cowboys game across the way, Cowboys tailgaters, and yet the ballpark was still pretty packed.
Yeah, and that's why it's crazy. That's why I love it. And I'm excited and bring a championship to Texas. That's our goal.
Still have to make the ballpark Huff Proof.
We're going to see then. We're going to see how it plays out.
Well, and you mentioned as far as John Murphy goes, because he currently holds to the longest homer. Are you? Is that in your eyes?
Yeah, I actually was sitting right behind it when he hit it, so I remember exactly how far it went. So it was because we look like brothers in a weird way. If I were to shave my head, we would look very similar. And gosh, when he hit that, I was kind of mad because we were losing at that point. Yeah. And then when he hit, I was like, I didn't know the ball could fly that far in the stadium. And then when I saw everyone starting to figure out how the stadium is built, it was like, okay, now we get where we're going.
Did you say anything to him when he touched home plate? No.
Dude, I was my like second game, so I was like, I'm not gonna say anything.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to do anything. I might say something after him under the tunnel, but like I don't really know Sean that well. Yeah. I got to talk to him a little bit because I was like, man, you're big too. He's like, yeah, you are too. I'm like, all right, cool. I didn't really want to say much.
Well, who knows? Like I said, a lot of people are thinking about like, if anybody's on the club, well, they thought Joey would be the one to break that. But now they're thinking as far as anybody in the organization, I think you're near the top of the list.
Let's see how this year goes then.
You've already said hello to an apartment complex.
Yeah.
So,
maybe I can get a window.
one of those, or maybe break, I don't know, one of those strips in there.
The concessions.
Oh yeah, I know. And then like batting practice on there. I know if anybody could hit the Jumbotron. I know we were kind of issuing it out. A challenge.
If I see somebody hit that out, I'll pay somebody to do that. That'd be kind of.
Well, what if it's you? Are you gonna pay yourself?
I'd have to pay whatever I broke, I feel like.
Oh, okay. We may. That's maybe some investigative. Something breaks, who pays for it?
Yeah, exactly.
So just going through so last year I did a little Ranger 7. So I asked 7 random questions. We're gonna go ahead and do that right now.
Let's do it.
It's a little random. So first off, if you weren't playing baseball or we'll kind of broaden this up. As far as athlete goes, what would be your profession?
Profession.
Yep.
Well, I wanted to go into kinesiology for kind of my college degree if I ever did go to college. Sorry, I gotta charge my iPad.
Oh, you're good.
So I was gonna go into kinesiology with my my major, but if I was really gonna do anything, I probably would have been a baseball coach. I still to this day, like people ask me, what would you do if baseball wasn't involved? And I was like, nah, I'm a baseball player. I'm not doing
You'll find some way in a sport that hypothetically doesn't exist. We'll find somewhere to get it in.
Oh yeah. If I can get any other sport, if I could get another sport that I can do and that brings joy to me, I'm going to do it because I've never been the type to like, oh, I'm going to school. Like I'm going to be an engineer. And it's like, nah, like I'm playing baseball. Like that's what I want to do. So it was always baseball. and it was always that. But if I ever did something, it'd probably be with someone with the body, like kinesiology and kind of like understanding how your body works and like what you need to do. But that was just like I picked that, and it's extremely hard to major in, so I didn't know that.
That's the other thing, like when you're going to college and you're trying to figure out what you're trying to do and you have a backup plan, you got to kind of think about the backup plan and how much time and energy that's going to take and how much money that's going to take on there. Because I was even in that position. Like I wanted to minor in business accounting, and they're like, oh yeah, you're going to have to take like 16 more hours to do that. I'm like, no, forget that. Forget that. I'll just I don't know.
Yeah.
Next question is who is, out of the, we talked about this as far as the comedic guy, but who's probably the best dancer?
Which one, double A or triple A?
Just as before, both.
Best dancer? Oh, probably Biggers. I'll give Jax that. I don't want him to get too big of a head, but yeah, I'll give Biggers that.
And just for the record, I mean, I've never seen a lot of these guys dance too. So for the record, if you wanted to say yourself, you can.
No, I'm not a good dancer. I am not. I already did the karaoke thing in West Virginia. I'm good with the dance.
Oh my gosh.
Does
anybody have video on that?
I could ask somebody actually, because I remember they took video they sent to me, but I think I lost it. But I know the one guy that did take it, his name's Clay Middleton. So I'll probably give Clay a text here. But it was tough. It was dark, and they were just doing it because it was like our first big road trip, like as a team. They wanted to do like a kind of like a get guys out of their shell and like get them like kind of open, and it helped out a lot. It was, as bad as we were singing, it was really fun.
That's all that matters, if it's fun.
Yeah.
So that's all that matters. But I almost want to see that video. It won't be shared. It won't be shared.
I'll find it. I'll find it and I'll let you know.
Okay. And I'll issue this challenge back, because if you're sending it to me, if you want something in return, I'll send you a bad karaoke or a bad dancing video.
Okay.
And then you can grade, because honestly, like, I don't know as far as like it goes. I posted this earlier, where it's like whether you sing or you dance, you're like, you don't know if you're good because nobody's ever seen you, so nobody's there to critique.
I don't know. I already know I'm not a good singer. My girlfriend hates on me, so I'm good with singing. I'm good. I know she's good at dancing. She used to line dance. She's from Texas, so she likes line dancing and stuff. And she has the rhythm part. I just play baseball, so I don't really need to show everyone my dance moves unless we're celebrating something like a World Series win. I'll do whatever I want there. But other than that, like, I'm strictly no dancing.
Have you done any line dancing with her?
I haven't. She tried to show me, and I was 2 seconds in. I didn't like it because I didn't know what to do, so I just left. I couldn't do it anymore.
I don't know. I feel like she's gonna get you at some point to do it.
She asked me every day. We went to the stockyards with Spencer Howard and AJ Alexi and Stu Walker, and they were line dancing, and Spencer went in there, and I was like, Spence, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just gonna go dance. And he started break dancing, and all these people are like synced up line dancing, and I was like, no, Spencer, come here. Like, let's not do that. And he's like, I was having so much fun. I was like, they weren't. They're actually dancing. Like, this is part of like line dancing. He's like, oh, okay. Because I've never seen it in real life either.
Yeah. No, I haven't actually in real life. I know on television I have.
It's cool. It's definitely, you gotta know what you're doing or you're out of the group.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, especially people in rhythm. It's amazing.
It's interesting to watch, but it also is, it's kind of like, dang, I wish I could do that, but I don't want to learn right now.
What is your goofiest fashion trend?
probably wearing like, I usually wear like skate brands like Stussy's, and I got this Stussy's hat that's it's like fur. It's like white puffy like blanket fur. It's like what jackets have on the inside.
Yeah.
And it's all white with it says Stussy's on it. So that's like probably my weirdest thing I've gotten, but I like Cactus Jack Cause. I like that stuff. It's kind of different. And Katie got that for me for my Christmas present. And then I like Essential, but that goofiest would probably be the Stussy's hat.
Is it like a beanie?
It's literally like a cap.
Okay.
It's a
So
cap.
it's like one of these, except it's made of a different material.
Yeah, it's literally like a fur hat that says Stussy's.
Oh.
And it's in Texas right now. When she leaves, I'll tell Kate get it for me and I'll bring it down. But I usually wear it to like the field, and I've gotten a lot of like hate on it. But then the one guy that condoned it was Steele Walker. He's like, bro, wear that, man. That looks good. And I was like, all right, Steele. Sure. You know style. Like, I don't.
So you would say Steele Walker's probably
He's style.
Okay.
He's style. Him, Josh Stowers are pretty much the guys I go to if I need some help. So if I need something, Stowers helps me with my sneakers and like clothes. Steele kind of helps me with like the looks of it, how I need to match and like kind of go about my business.
I'm writing that down because that's going to be one thing for Steele, like for advice.
Yeah.
Not a question, but for advice. Because
you get him in a rabbit hole, just warning you. So he'll tell you whatever you want.
Be like a fashion designer.
Mm-hmm. He actually is. He is into that.
That's amazing. What is so you said you played video games. What video games do you play?
Just Call of Duty.
Okay.
So I've gotten the show. I've gotten like Destiny. I've gotten into that stuff, but I got a PS5 and I downloaded the new Call of Duty. And so I was playing with Joe Palumbo, Brock Burke, and all of them, and they started playing Apex. So I was like, okay, like I don't want to play Apex. So I play with like Scott Angler, and I play with Curtis Terry sometimes, and I play with like a couple guys, but I usually just do Rebirth and Battle Royale. So it's pretty easy. I mean, I'm not really good at it, but I like to play because I get to talk to them.
I was like, okay, because I was gonna be like, who could probably be the best teacher in there?
Ooh. Best teacher is probably like Brock Burke or Joe Palumbo.
For future. So I've got fashion advice and I got gaming advice. I'm just making a list.
Joe Palumbo is really good. Brock is too, because they take it serious. They like maxed out all their weapons when it first dropped, like the new Call of Duty, and they play for hours. And then once they max it out, they play and they get tired of it and move on. So it's like it's kind of like they stay up hours during nights and days and like trying to max out all these weapons. And then once they're super good. And then after that, they're done.
What is this is gonna be kind of weird, but a board game that you're most competitive at? You're 24. Do you know what board games are?
Yeah, I do. I do like Battleship. That was my favorite.
Okay. You ever play Risk?
Fun. I haven't.
Okay.
What is it?
I was just wondering because to be honest, I haven't played Risk.
Okay.
But I know there's some similarities. It's like a strategic board game.
Okay. Then probably my family would like that. I like pretty quick and easy games.
Okay. I mean, I was what about card, like do you do any like card games like poker or any of there?
I'm not a really big poker guy. I do like Go Fish.
Okay.
But it's I'm telling you, I'm very easy on my games. I'm more focused on at the field when guys are playing blackjack or something. I'm hitting or something. I don't want to like waste my time playing video games or going to play like card games. So it's when season's season, it's like I see all the pitchers doing it, that's fine. But when I get involved, it's either
go time.
Yeah. I'm not trying to like get into it like that.
No, I mean I think that's very, very keep your mind going on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe I saw you're drinking Starbucks.
Yeah.
What's the craziest Starbucks order that you've?
Probably the vanilla iced hazelnut latte with almond milk is probably pretty out there, but they discontinued hazelnut for a little bit. So I had to get the vanilla sweet cream cold brew with sweet cream cold foam on top. But I mean, mine aren't as bad as what Katie ordered. So I don't even remember half of what Katie gets. So it's me. I order my easy drink and then she orders hers because I can't even remember because she'll tell me and it's like, get this with a pump of this, with one pump of this, with a sprinkle of this. It's like, you order it. I'm not ordering this. You order it.
So you have to go out and like pick it up for the both of you. So she has to like text you like every little thing.
I do the online order and I just drive through and leave because I can't order her drink.
I like that. If picking up groceries, do you go in store? And it's kind of varies, but like let's just say right now, you go in store. Do you do pickup or do you do delivery?
I do in store. I to be honest, I don't really like a lot of healthy stuff. So when I go in, Katie gets all the healthy stuff and I just kind of push the cart and it's nice to get out. So
yeah,
usually I just go in stores with her.
That's what's your store go to? And I know they vary in Arizona, but
Trader Joe's and Whole Foods is where we go. Okay. But I know in Texas we will go to what's it called? Central Market is the place.
Okay, yeah.
So we go there a lot. That's like on steroids, those two combined. So it's cool.
No, like Central Market, you always kind of, I think it was the first time we actually somewhat got lost.
Oh, really? Just
because because you have that little, when you're in the produce section and then have that little shortcut on there.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of looking around like, okay, I feel like I just entered in a new dimension or something.
Yeah. It's big for how it looks on the outside.
And then of course, like some of the things that a lot of other places don't have. And the only thing is like, it's like 30 minutes away from here. So you have to make a list and then you're not quite sure exactly what they have. And so it's just looking for a good produce place.
Yeah. It's tough, but once you get there, it's actually really cool.
Then you get hooked and then you buy all this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh. So I know you had mentioned like your top 3 spring training facilities. So was that like your favorite or do you actually have a favorite facility?
I really like Salt River is my favorite because I'm only like 10 minutes from it. So I thought I was going to get drafted by the D-backs or Rockies. I only have to drive 5 minutes, but I get on the other side of all the state of Arizona. So I got to drive to 45, but it's awesome. Like any chance I get to play there in a spring training game or just get to play there, it feels like home.
Did you ever, when you went to games, did you ever go to center field and just lay out a beach towel?
Yeah, I've done that my whole life when the Cubs had their old facility out here before they built their new one. And I mean, we always did grass tickets. And then when I got older, we started sitting in kind of the seats, but we usually walk around during spring training games because it gets so hot. So we don't really want to like sit down and burn. I don't. So me and my dad get up with my sister and we just walk around and kind of see the area.
I have 3 to-goes with that. I want to do that at some point. If I ever go to Chase Fields, I would want to catch a game by the pool.
The pool is that everyone wants to do the pool, so it'd be kind of cool.
I think Miami has that too. They have a little jacuzzi area in the Clevelander.
Tampa does. They bought the Rays. All the Rays are in there.
Okay. Well, I don't want to. That's probably not safe.
Yeah.
Although I would be curious. I would pay I always wonder if like the Rays. I don't think they've ever done this, but like if they were to win, like let's say the AL Championship or the World Series at home, would they ever dive into the fish tank?
Knowing players, baseball players, maybe.
And then be there with the Rays.
Yeah, it would be. Hopefully, their stingers are all out, but yeah.
And then the third thing is in Frisco, catching a game by the Lazy River, not by the Lazy River, on the Lazy River.
Yeah, a lot of people came to the Lazy River on some days, even like non-game days, like Tuesdays or Mondays, and people just hang out on the Lazy River.
Do you get a good shot of the field from there?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
it's pretty much all of the field. It's just there might be a ball down the line. If it goes in the right field corner, you might miss it, but overall, it's a pretty good look.
Okay, because that was one of the only things I was worried about. Like, oh, do you get blocked off from the game? But no. Okay, so 3 things.
Got you.
I've got that on my list.
Got you.
Do you have to bring your? I assume you have to bring your own like flotation.
No, they supply flotations. It's just bring your swimsuit.
Okay. All right. I'm making it right now because I know with the Frisco Rough Rider season, we might make that out. Does any of the I would say like, does any of the players like pregame for the fans? Any of them just kind of chill?
Yeah, they're like we'd take BP, and when we were about done, people would be in the lazy river just hanging out, like little kids. They sometimes bring kids in and they kind of just do their thing, and then right before game starts, they all get out because they just are just there to hang out.
Okay. I've got a whole list of things that I'm learning, like
Okay.
100%. So I mean, this is very informative.
Oh,
I will say.
I got you. I got all the info.
You've got all the inside info on there.
Yeah.
What is your go-to song?
Oh, I got a lot of songs in my realm, I guess, but go-to song to listen to would probably be, I guess it would just be country. George Strait is what I've been listening to recently, but I listen to like Young Dolph and Key Glock. I've been listening to a lot of like I've listened to a lot of music, but overall it's pretty much like country or rap. Is like those artists pretty much. I've been listening to a lot of like Key Glock. I like his music right now, and just overall I like old rap too with Tupac and Biggie and NWA. I like their stuff too. So it just depends how I feel, but I was listening to a lot of old style rap back in Frisco, and then just kind of throughout the season.
And then I know you already had a karaoke song, but what is your other go-to karaoke, or just in general?
Your Man. It's a country song, and I'd only say this, like sing like the first part, and then after that just gets like repetitive. So it would pretty much be the start of it, and then once the start's done, it's like, okay, I'm good, and I just leave.
I know I have a few songs on my playlist that like, because I can't do like, not that I can't listen to rap, I can't do rap.
Yeah.
Just because it's awkward, and 2, it goes kind of fast for me.
Yeah.
So like the choruses, I sometimes will just kind of chime in.
Yeah. It's definitely, it depends on what you listen to, if it's hard or if it's like pretty laid back rap, but R&B or just like essential stuff. But if you don't pick the right rap, it's very hard to get into.
I've always heard it's good, like when you do like fast pace, just singing or like talking on there, that it kind of helps your voice, that it warms up your vocals.
I think I heard that too, because I know I don't know, so many people got so many things nowadays with like the rap, and then the newer generation music, and then the old style music, and then people are singing the same like lyrics every sentence, and then you got guys that are actually singing. So it just depends on what they're doing.
Oh my God, what was that Fall Out Boy song that had like a beginning verse that just went fast paced? I remember when I was like in high school, if I like warm up my vocals for like doing news deliveries, I would literally do that as a warm up. Okay. And then like, I don't mind saying this, but like when I was doing broadcasting for like softball games, I would do a little bit of Kesha on there.
Okay. I listened to it from Katie, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what's funny is that her music and my music are probably pretty similar compared to your music and mine.
They are. She showed me she likes a lot of rap too, but she'll play like 2000s is like hits. Like Katy Perry, Pink, you got all this stuff. And it's like, all right, Katie, I remember this when I was like 13 or 12, but I don't want to listen to it. I'm good.
A little old school Backstreet Boys in sync. And a
Oh
lot of
my
people went there.
We play that for fun after a game, but it's just we're pretty much rap with the guys we got.
I know it's weird because back prior to this past year, because Elvis Andrews would control all of the music. So I don't know who's controlling it now, but I know Elvis would be the man.
Yeah, he was. If you had a request, you'd have to go through him, and if he didn't like it, you're out of luck. So it was. I liked Elvis's music though. I don't really care for.
Yeah, no, it wasn't bad.
No,
it just was like.
It's people have their opinions about, oh, this is the music I need to listen to. It's like, no, just doesn't matter what you play. Just at least we have something on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to just play nothing.
Oh, they did BP a couple times last year with no music, and it just felt awkward.
Yeah, it's not really. Sometimes they don't turn it on. Sometimes they do. So it just depends.
Or it's very faint too, where you can barely hear it. But well, Sam, appreciate the time. If you want to follow Sam on social media, Sir Huffington35, and that's both handles for Twitter and Instagram. You had to give yourself a nickname. What would it be?
Clifford, the big red dog.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. That's what I'm saying. Like now with Cole Calhoun, AJ Alexi, and then you, Rangers getting some ginger.
Yes. And you got
ginger spices on the roster.
You got the chin strap from AJ to me, who is trying to grow a beard but still has the chin strap, and you got Cole, who is just the redheaded mohawk.
I'm wondering if anybody will go with the Brandon Marsh look.
I hope
anybody.
I think AJ could pull it off if he really wanted to.
I think he could. I think AJ could. I don't know if Cole could.
Cole likes to look clean. He wants to be clean. I like clean cut too. So I grew my hair out in 2018, and that was the last time. So I'm pretty much business on the sides, and I just have this on top just to have it.
Who's got the best hair on the roster?
Jonah.
I'm okay. All right. I can
Jonah's
go with
got
that.
Jonah's got some flow. So
I know Josh Smith is making a run.
He is, but Jonah's got the length on Josh.
Yeah.
Josh has got the Swanson curls. Like Jonah's just got that flowy long hair. So you got one of one. So you got curls or you got flow. So it just depends on what you want.
I know I had mine cut in like November there because it was I can't style it as well as they do. I think I needed some Jonah or Josh advice on there.
Yeah.
But I know that this kind of grew out and doesn't always go the way you want.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some product missing there. And then of course, some people may be surprised on this little mustache going. Yeah. I tried to
at least you can grow it. I can't grow mine yet. It's still peach fuzz or something.
I got 6 years on you, man. So
yeah,
don't worry. Don't worry.
You're right. I'm sorry, you're right.
If you want to listen to this podcast, will be available on YouTube, on Anchor, and where else you'd get your podcast from. Anything else you want? Yeah, this is anything goes.
Just excited for this year, and hopefully we can get everything situated with the lockout.
I know.
That's all we want. It's just baseball. We want to play.
I know. March. I'm sure a lot of people have March plans. So.
Oh yeah.
And spring break. How big was spring? I mean, this is a dumb question. I was going to say, how big is spring break over by you? But I mean, heck, it's Phoenix. So it's got to be like intense.
It gets intense. I know a lot of people go to Mexico. They go over there, or they go to like California. So it just depends. But a lot of people come here for spring break, or all the college kids just stay here and their families come down. So it gets crazy during that time of the year, and they all come to stadium games, and they come to like Salt River is where a lot of people go, or Scottsdale. So it just depends on who they want to go see, but it's definitely fun. It brings out an environment, and you got young people coming to watch, and you got a good group of people, regardless if they're there for baseball, they're just there to drink. It's still, they come.
Did you ever drive over to Las Vegas or to Los Angeles? Like just as a road trip on there?
Yeah. So I used to go to LA a lot. My aunt's from there. She lives there. And so she lives by LMU, and we kind of just hang out in there. And that was usually my winter break stuff. But I've been to Vegas for my sister's softball stuff when she was playing. And then I was going to go to Vegas in a couple weeks to just kind of get out of town and just hang out. But I go there a lot. I go to LA more than I do Vegas, but it's just depends.
And then as far as college teams go in the Phoenix area, which one? Arizona State?
Bear down, U of A. Got to go U of A. My sister went there, and my parents went to UW, so I'll pick U of A.
All right. Sam, appreciate it. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.